Okay, so there's a big question to be asked in the very beginning of our parsha. There is a solution to Pharaoh's dream, which seems quite kind of obvious that Yosef offers. Pharaoh has this dream where he dreams of 7 fat cows and 7 thin cows, and the 7 thin cows swallow up the 7 fat cows, and similarly with grain as well. Similar thing happens. And Yosef, they bring Yosef up. Yosef solves a dream. He says there's going to be 7 years of plenty, swallowed up by 7 years of famine. And it's repeated twice because it's immediate. It's going to happen soon. And Pharaoh asked his necromancers to try to solve this dream for him, and they couldn't come up with a solution. And when Yosef solved the dream, he decreed that he announced that it was such a good solution. He's not only going to implement it, he's going to take this slave who was in jail and elevate him to the second to highest position in all of his kingdom to implement the dream. So obviously this solution was like an amazing solution. But when you read it, I could imagine maybe some of his closest necromancers, the magicians or whoever were solving these issues could have come up with something similar to that. It's not like the most outrageous type of solution. Like, what's so special about it? I found Lubavitcher Rebbe offers a pretty good answer to this based on the simple reading of the text. If you compare how the dream was described by Hashem, and you compare how Pharaoh described the dream to Yosef, you see some differences. And if you pick up on those differences, you can see how Yosef displayed such wisdom. And so the first version of the dream has a line that doesn't appear in Pharaoh's description to Yosef. And the line is, "V'ta'amona etzel parot al sfat hayor." It says that the fat cows stood on the Nile alongside the skinny ones. And when he described the dream, Pharaoh didn't describe that. It just said that the skinny ones ate up the fat ones. So the Lubavitcher Rebbe says that those who are solving the dream, they couldn't imagine how the plenty and the famine could coexist at the same time. It just didn't seem logical. They thought of this idea, not like that outrageous of an idea. They thought of it. They couldn't imagine how it could happen at the same time. So they came up with all kinds of other answers, like they're going to be 7 daughters who are born, 7 daughters who are going to be buried. But Yosef, because he had that kind of nevuah, the prophecy, he knew the original dream, and so he knew that piece, that component, Pharaoh was not mentioning. So when he solved the dream, he offered not just the explanation to the dream, but the solution. The solution was, make sure that in the time of famine, in the plenty, you'll think about the famine. So that in the time of famine, you'll be able to enjoy the plenty. Meaning, Yosef was trying in his solution to really offer kind of explanation to the dream. In the dream itself, there was the solution that they have to coexist at the same time. And in the time of plenty, you have to think about the famine and prepare, store away, and then you could benefit in the time of famine from the time of plenty. So Yosef was able to kind of catch that piece of Pharaoh's dream, and that stood out to him because he didn't even mention it in his description. That showed that Yosef was a Navi. Then Yosef was offering the commentary, and then the commentary was the solution was in the commentary, because Yosef's solution was basically Pharaoh's dreams telling us what to do, to have them coexist at the same time. You're preparing already for the famine in the time of plenty. So in all that together, the idea that he caught that piece, that showed that he was a prophet, and that he showed in Pharaoh's dream how the solution was there, that stood out to Pharaoh. And because of that, Pharaoh kind of elevated and recognized that this individual knew what he was talking about. The Lubavitcher Rebbe continues and says there's a good message for us that we should really be thinking about that oftentimes in our time of plenty. We don't think about the tough times ahead. And so we don't reach out to Hashem always as strong when you have everything that you need. So he says we should strengthen ourselves to really reach out to Hashem and our friends and to create strong connections in our time of plenty, so that when God forbid, there is a time of lack, we'll be trained and have those strong connections already in place that we could benefit from them. So he connects it also to our lives as well.